From every strand on the line of your reel, to the rods, to the anglers, to the lures on the end of your hook, let's talk about those big bass here on Co-Angler's Corner with your hosts, Rob Welch and John Stoudinger.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Co-Angler's Corner. I'm John.
Hi, y'all are. Cajun Rob here hanging with you. We got a special guest tonight, guys. I hope you're tuning in because he's quite an inspiration for sure.
Definitely. Ever since I heard about him and heard his incredible story, I've always wanted to talk to him, get a chance to know him a little better. And this is our chance. Let's bring on our special guest, Hunter Baughman. As soon as I can get this thing to work. For some reason, every time, 98% of the time, it works right. But then when I think, all right, I'm getting everything all straightened around.
Oh,
it
yeah.
Doesn't. But that's up. All right.
That's technical difficulties, man. Technical difficulties.
All right, let's bring Hunter on right now.
There I am.
Hey, how you doing, Hunter?
There you are.
How are y'all?
All right, good, man. Good.
Doing well. No, we've been doing good. We use StreamYard, and every once in a while it doesn't connect to all the places it's supposed to, and
Facebook and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's part of it.
It is.
It is. But we got it all straightened around, I think.
Yeah, at least so.
All right, Hunter, if you don't mind giving us a little bit of a background about you and your fishing and stuff like that to start the show off with.
So I'm from Judsonia, Arkansas, which is nobody knows where that's at, but a lot of people know where Searcy, Arkansas is, kind of northeast of Little Rock, 50 miles. So Central Arkansas, born and raised here within a 60-mile circle my whole life. Grew up, man, just a fisherman, not a bass fisherman, not a tournament fisherman. Just we called it, we ate it, and kind of really got into the tournament thing in my teens. I'm amputee on both legs, below the knees. I'm missing all my fingers on one hand. I'm in a wheelchair, and it was a way for me to be competitive, and that's why I really started doing the tournament thing because I'm such a competitive guy. Like if we play bingo, I want to win. It doesn't matter. Like I want to win everything we do, rock, paper, scissors. So I kind of got into a tournament deal in my teens. I'm 37 now, and just, man, I fished as hard as I could through high school and college, and I'm old enough that I missed all the high school and college teams. I was doing all the normal BFLs and stuff, and I liked it. I enjoyed it. I loved the competition. I started doing fairly well, and sometime there, I don't know, in my early 20s, I was like, man, I don't know, like I might be decent enough to try to bring this to the next level. Start fishing some, at the time they're called Everstarts and Evercoastas, but the Toyotas now. Fishing some of those, had some success. Won a couple of the larger things here in Arkansas, and it's like, man, I don't know, this might work. Man, long story short, 20 years later, or 15 to 20 years later after I started tournaments, I'm on my fourth year of the National Professional Fishing League, getting travel all over the country. And consider it a career. That and I do motivational speaking. And between the two, that's the life of Hunter these days. I've got a wife and two kids, a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, little girls, and they travel with me on the road. And we run around to the NPFL events, and I motivational speak in between at churches and schools and stuff like that. And I get in every local tournament I can possibly fish when I'm home.
Yeah,
great.
I saw you finished one NPFL tournament and drove straight home the next day for a team championship or something like that.
Oh yeah. That's pretty common. I actually fished the Toyota Series last week and made the cut, but my partner was already on standby to fish a tournament on Saturday. If I didn't make the cut, I was coming home to fish one. There's not many Saturdays goes by between March and September around here that we don't fish somewhere if I'm home.
Definitely.
Awesome.
And don't forget about your Toyota Series at Truman in 22. If you want to talk about that's huge, man. To win one of those, that's once in a lifetime, man.
Man, the good Lord's blessed me so much, and the ability, for anybody to have the ability to go win a tournament like that, much less someone in a chair, amputee. Like it's awesome. I get to share my testimony,
Yep.
And show people that with God anything's possible. But I was very fortunate in fall of 22. I won a Toyota Series as a pro. Pretty big deal. I mean,
oh yeah,
for me, I don't know. For me, it was a big deal. It kind of showed me I could do it more than anything else. I was already in year 2 of the NPFL, had a couple of good decent tournaments, but it was like, man, you can do this, and that was an awesome week. I need one of those every year.
Oh yeah, Def. Hey, there's guys that fish Toyotas for 10, 15, 20 years, never win. So that's huge, man. Congrats.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So what is I would say what is up with Hunter lately, but you've been fishing and doing everything.
Man, yeah, till it's deer season, I'm in the boat. Then the boat becomes just a thought when deer season comes in.
Okay.
I understand that.
I didn't realize that you were a big hunter as well.
Oh yeah, I love it. I'm on the kind of the edge of the Delta of Arkansas here, which is world-renowned duck hunting too. And I don't duck hunt that much, but I do enjoy duck hunting. But love deer hunting, like absolutely love deer hunting. I do it a lot. A lot of times we end up fishing through the first part of it, October, especially with the NPFL. We fish late in the year. But when November gets here, man, I don't want to fish. I don't want to talk. I'm over it. Like I'm ready to go get in a deer stand for a couple months.
Yeah, you don't want to come up north and go ice fishing?
No, I'm out. I don't. It could be a 10-pounder every throw, and if it's during the rut, I have no interest in it. When I have to fish through deer season, I get kind of grouchy about it too.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. And doing what you do, traveling, all the time, it takes a special kind of family, and I want to congratulate you and your family on doing that, because it's not easy. Even Rob and I don't fish half as much as you do, and it's still you have your life back home and your family, and I just want to say congratulations to you and your family for that, allowing you to.
Thank you. My wife makes it very much like home on the road. She's. Wow. I'll go daylight till dark, come off the water dark practice days, and dinner will be ready when I come in the door. And it's
wow.
We just a little of my testimony. We tried for 7 years to have kids before we ever had one, and I'm very thankful that most of the time I don't have to leave them at home. Like most of the time, they get to travel with me everywhere we go. Like the Toyotas, I'll occasionally go just room with somebody else to cut costs, but like the main ones, the NPFL, they're on the road with me on all of them. And sometimes, man, the 2-year-old and the 1-year-old, sometimes that's a long drive when you're headed to Michigan or Florida from Arkansas. But it's well worth it to be having with me on the road for sure.
Yeah.
And they'll have memories. I mean, that's
oh yeah.
You don't realize it, but them growing up, being on the road with you, that they'll remember that. And that's memories they'll cherish, and when they get teens and get out on their own. For sure.
They'll never not remember standing on stage of a national tournament while they're which is really cool to think.
Yeah, it is.
Now, the NPFL allows you on stage.
Yes.
Where a lot of the tournament circuits, because of your circumstances, you can't get on stage. How was that for you to have a series that you could do that at every turn?
It is. Nobody's ever said you can't, obviously, but it's tougher. It's got steps. And I just hadn't really thought about it. Like I fished a bunch of BFLs and Toyotas, and I just never really thought about it, too much. And the NPFL came along, and I'm like, man, if I'm going to do this like as a career and do this thing, I've got to be able to get on stage with my jersey on and represent those who take care of me, and
absolutely.
I talked to them. They said, "Say no more. We'll make it happen." And since like when I won that Toyota at Truman, so Mark McQuall is the Toyota director. He also lives like an hour and a half south of me, and I've known him like from around here. He was our BFL director. I've known him for a long time in the fishing world around here, and he called me, and like I never held it against anybody else. I just didn't ever mess with the 2 or 3 steps to get my chair up on stage. And I'll never forget, after day 2, I was in 4th at that Toyota, and he called me the night before, and he said, "Hey, I want you on stage tomorrow." And So we got, I just hopped out and we got the chair on stage. And so it's just kind of a thing that, like, this 12 to last week's first one I fished since then, and just got to do it as schedule allows. And he was like, hey, you need to be on stage. So we jerked the chair up there on stage. But I think it maybe opened the eyes more than anything else, because, the BFL, it's a lot easier not to get up there when you don't catch them too. Like, okay, day, I'm just going to hand them a bag and go across. And kind of just made it a point with the NPFL. They said, we'll see to it happens. And it's kind of just open doors to other places, to be able to get on stage too.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. I think everybody should have the opportunity to be proud of who they are and what they do. So
yeah, and you open doors for other anglers if they have similar, even older guys. You open a door for them, so you're kind of a open the door for the rest of them. So that's great.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Yeah. I know Rob and I are both big into the faith, and it says God put you where you're supposed to be. And I believe the, NPFL has given you a place to be where you're supposed to be.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's, I tell people like if I go to a church, for sure, how in the world could I have picked a better life than getting to go fish and tell people about Jesus? When I'm sharing my testimony. Yep. Like I get to, and a lot of the speaking even in churches is at beast feasts and different outdoor related stuff, where it's like, my goodness, I couldn't think of a better life, better opportunity to get to catch fish and talk hunting and fishing and tell people about Jesus. I mean, that's the best there is.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I met a good friend of mine. We actually met at church. He was a pastor. He preaches like revivals. And we got talking, and he fishes BFLs. That's part of his ministry. Really? He's kind of part retired, and that's part of his ministry is fishing BFLs, and he's really good. Yeah, he's really good.
I always joke and say, everybody, curiosity killed the cat. Nobody, you get in a boat with a dude with no legs, and he fishes all day and does fairly well. At some point, they're going to have to ask a question. They're like, "What happened to you?" You know what I mean? And
yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm able to. Without preach, I don't want to go preach to somebody and
right.
get tired of it. But it's a very easy way to tell my testimony because everybody wants to know what happened. And
absolutely,
here wanting to know I had bacterial meningitis. That's at 9 months old. I had never known any different, but I had 113-degree fever, and I wasn't supposed to live. If I lived, I'd be a vegetable. So it's all I've ever known though. So I just figured out how to do stuff differently than everybody else.
Absolutely. Exactly. And I've talked to other pros, and they said, "Man, you're the most positive guy out there. You always got a smile. You're always positive. So hats off to you."
Most of the time, I think
most of the time, yeah. Well, compared to most of them, okay. Compared to most of them, you're positive.
Yeah, appreciate it.
But no, speaking of that, one of our big supporters is the American Angler Outdoor Network. They've actually have a channel dedicated to Christian fishing.
Really? That's really cool.
Yeah. That's and this show is going to be on that on the American Angler Outdoor Network as well. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really growing. Really growing.
Good.
Yes. And so what is your favorite technique?
Gosh, that's changed so much over the last few years. Probably still dragging a 5/16 for a tournament, dragging a 5/16 jig, ball head jig. For fun, it's hard to beat a frog. And I do throw it tournaments. Just a lot of tournaments don't fit that where you can go throw a frog all day.
Right.
That's probably my favorite just to go do, especially if I get to do it in a tournament. But man, that little 5/16 finesse jig from Brazalo Custom Lures, it's carried me a long ways, a lot of tournaments.
Yeah. So what's your favorite setup for a jig? Like some people use 8-foot, 7.6, 7.2, 7.4.
So mine's I use stick 5 rods. It's a 7.2 Texas rig jig rod is what I throw with 17-pound fluorocarbon.
Okay.
And usually a quick reel. I like an 8-to-1 reel just so you can pick up. If they come at you, if you pick up and it's slack, like if they're coming to you, you can catch them.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
I'm pretty simple when it comes to my fishing. If I'm dragging it, it's 17 with an 8 ratio reel. If I'm winding it, it's 14 with a 6 ratio reel. I mean, there's different ones, you know, but like 90% of my stuff, if I'm winding, it's 14 with a 6. If I'm dragging, it's 18 or 17 with an 8.
Okay.
Good deal. Nice.
Yeah, I never, like, with Rob and I being co-anglers, we're kind of limited in the amount of rods. And
right.
Him and I have a discussion every once in a while, like, hey, what do you use for this? And
those and 7 and change 7.2, 7.3 rods with, you know, medium heavy or heavy, especially the heavier medium heavies, man, you can do so much with those, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That I probably have about 6 or 7 of those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I found it's instead of like carrying more rods, I carry extra reels. So if I change and want a lighter, I'll change the reel, hook it up, and be ready to go. So
that's a good idea. I was with a crew the other day that did that.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
Pull them out, you know, ready to go.
Yeah. Or if you have a professional overrun, you got something to back up.
Yeah,
that happens.
Carry some extras in a box for that, just in case every once in a while.
Oh yeah, it happens.
Yeah. If I know, you know, that I'm like last week at Grand, I knew all week I was going to throw that little jig. I mean, I had another one, another rod and reel ready to go. Just you never know. You set the hook, hit a dock cable, break a rod. You never know what you're going. You know, you need a backup. You know, you're going to be using it a lot.
Yeah,
especially on a windy day. I mean, you'll have windy days, or you get wind knots and all kind of crazy stuff. So,
we don't get wind up here in New York.
You don't get wind in New York.
Well, you must have shipped in Kentucky because I got tons in Kentucky.
It's been terrible this year.
Yeah, it has here.
I was joking with Rob because Rob got more snow this year than I did.
I don't know how that happened. I guess he shipped it down here. I don't know.
Yeah, right. I wish you'd send it over this way. We didn't get much. I like the snow.
Oh, yeah,
if I don't
it's pretty nice.
You must like the snow, especially during deer season.
Oh, yeah, man. It never, you know, most of the time I'm done deer hunting by Christmas, and it's usually after that when we get a snow around here. It's usually January, but, man, I'm just a big kid. I'll go drive in it. Like,
oh, yeah.
I'll go out in a hunting truck and leave out for 2 or 3 hours. Just go drive around and look and see how many people run the ditch.
Yeah, I'll pull the old sled out and go sledding. I got a big hill, and I go sledding down the hill. My wife just shakes her head. She shakes her head. Said, no ER trip today. I was like, nah, not today.
Hey, we only
have a little fun
twice a year, you know. We're going to play when we get it.
That's right. Yeah, because I was born and raised South Mississippi, so we get ice maybe once every 10 years. So, yeah, I enjoy it up here. At least we get to change the season, so it's all good.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely get change of season up here. Sometimes they're all on the same day.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man.
Where are you at in New York? Are you close to St. Lawrence?
About 2 hours away. I'm about 10 minutes away from Cuba Lake.
Okay, man. St. Lawrence is a bucket list. I keep every year. I look at the schedule, hoping it's on there, and it hasn't been on there yet. I kind of dread the drive, but it's like 18 or 19 hours, I think, from us. But I want to go bad.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
There's some big girls up there for sure.
Oh yeah.
I was talking to a guy the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, I'd like to get some big smallmouth." I'm like, "You know, come to my house. You know, you can stay right here. I'm 10 minutes away from Cuba Lake, state record 2 years in a row."
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was recent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Last year and the year before, in the same exact tournament by the same guy.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
And,
well, there you go.
And they show him, you know, he takes a video of him releasing the fish every year.
Really?
Yeah. Of course, he's only showing you the fish in the water. He's not showing you landmarks or anything.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's smart.
Yeah.
That was an 8-pounder, wasn't it?
Yep. Yep.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's a big. I can't imagine. Like, we don't have a lot of lakes here with smallmouth, but when we catch one, like 3-pounder is a big one. You know, if you catch 2 or 3 3-pounders in a day, it's been a really good day around here for size.
Well, what you do is you come up here, right, and you catch a lot of gobies and keep them in your live well, take them down home, You'll be good. You'll be good.
Oh yeah, you'll be
there to bring them back. But I feel like they might write a ticket if they caught you on the way.
Yeah, they probably would. Yeah.
I think you might get a little bit of a fine.
Yeah, they'd frown on that a little bit.
Yeah, we need somebody to be bold enough to do it, though. We need them down here.
It's tough.
Oh yeah.
Sooner or later, just like everything else, they'll make their way.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But so one of your bucket list places you did mention was St. Lawrence River.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else would you consider be a bucket lake for you?
Gosh, I've been very fortunate to go to a lot of the places. I wanted to go to. I've never been to Okeechobee, but I've been to about all the other big ones in Florida. You go to,
right?
I went to Falcon years ago when I was in college, just fishing. We went to Amistad for our championship this year. So those, for a long time, I thought it was Champlain I wanted to go to till the St. Lawrence kind of come on the screen, and it's like, man, I want to go there, But I've been a lot of places. I don't know that I have that many. I'd like to go to the Mississippi River, like up north.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
I'm born and raised here on the Arkansas River, and that's one thing we lack in all out-of-state tournaments or multi-day tournaments. There's very few on a true river. Like you go to the Tennessee River, but you're ledge fishing. But there's very few that you go throw a frog and flip for a 3 or 4 day tournament, and have a good tournament. And that's I'd like to go to the Mississippi because that's what we do here.
Oh yeah.
You could do that on a St. Lawrence. You just might not catch a lot.
You're only catching 18 pounds then, right?
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah. I was talking to a buddy, I don't know, probably about a month ago, and we were comparing different lakes. And I go, he's like, yeah, I wish I fished down south. And I'm like, yeah, it must really stink catching 40 pounds of fish in 2 days and not making the top 40 cut. What was it last year on the St. Lawrence that happened? To some guys. But, that's crazy. One thing people don't realize about up north, from around here, these guys that I didn't know till I started traveling, but man, there's amazing largemouth fishing north. A lot of frogging, a lot of flipping that just doesn't compete most of the time. Yes.
We went to Saginaw Bay last couple of years, and I've been able to compete there on largemouth, but there's not a lot of places that you can up north. Most of the time I knew I was, I think, 5th going into the last day at Saginaw last year, but my wife had said something, and I was like, man, there's I think Patrick Walters was leading it, and man, he's catching a whole different fish. Like he's catching smallmouth. I may only be 5th, but we're not even on the same, deal. Like we're on different programs, man. It's fun. You can make a good check doing it, but you still can't win doing it. But but it's amazing how good the largemouth fishing is around all the Great Lakes and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't get the attention it deserves.
No, well, that's a good thing. That's probably why it's that good.
You're right. Especially when you go to Champlain. I mean, Champlain is not as good as it used to be largemouth fishing, but you could still do some damage to largemouth fishing.
Yeah, that I remember watching the old tournaments, man. I guess it would have been a FLW. It was Canterbury. I remember him catching biggins on a jig at Champlain. I'm like, I want to go do that. I mean, he's just flipping a jig around.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Don't be afraid to do that for smallmouth up here either.
Really?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's
I use anywhere between a 1/2 ounce and a 1 ounce.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that's heavy duty.
I don't even own a 1 ounce.
You don't?
No.
Let me know.
We'll get that heavy.
Let me know if you want to rent some. I got a couple up here.
Just couple.
I'm only messing with you. But no, is there any lakes that you don't want to go to?
That don't? No, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's, we go to Pickwick this year in July, and I'm not a fan of the Tennessee River in the summer because it's such an offshore ledge deal, and you need to be boat to boat because there's about 6 good spots on all these lakes that time of year. I don't enjoy that as much. I mean, I'm ready to go all the time. Doesn't matter where we're going. That's not the top of my list, but it's not that I don't want to, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
And James Wheatley says if I can't catch him on a jig, I probably just ain't catching him at all.
Oh, I know the feeling.
I learned.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, yeah, there's some old guys here in Kentucky. They throw a jig year round. So if they finish up in the top 5, you're like, yep, jig bite was on. Good. That's all they throw.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, like all this scoping, it's changed some. I throw a jerkbait a lot more and different things that out shad like, that you can see. But yeah, the jig's always been good to me for sure.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I as a co-angler, I struggled to get, I'm on back in the boat with live scoper. And I finally figured if you throw an A-rig, which you can on BFLs, or one of the scrounger heads, I've caught a few. So there's ways to catch them, but it's aggravating. It's aggravating.
Oh, yeah. Man,
is what it is.
Usually around a bunch when you're doing that. Like there's a bunch of fish there.
Yeah.
So they're not very often are they like crawfish eaters. Most of the time they're shad eaters.
Yes.
Yeah, and it throws you off because you'll be in 80 to 100 foot of water, and they're up from like 4 to 10 foot, and you just got to block out the 100 foot. It's like, no, I can't jig. I just got to keep grinding. So
right.
It's kind of crazy. Yep.
Andrew Pulliam says, I don't use scope, but I'm starting to like everyone leaving the bank.
Hey, but a lot of people are getting into this shallow deal where now they're going to the bank with it. I've been playing with it.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of fish be caught up there doing that too. But yeah, there are a lot more people off than there used to be for sure.
Yeah. Which kind of stinks for us up north because that's the way it used to be. You'd be offshore and no one else be like that. They'd look at you and like, what's he doing way out there?
Man, I'll be the first to admit, like I had a pretty good, resume before that came out. Like it wasn't like I couldn't catch any fish. I won quite a bit of stuff around here before it came out, but I could fish offshore, but I really didn't enjoy it because I felt like I was wasting a lot of time. But it's really sped me up where I'm a lot more efficient. I know when I'm throwing, where my bait's going. Like when I won that deal at Truman, 15 was as deep as I caught a fish all week. Most of them were 5 to 10, but it was still, I never saw the fish on scope at all, but I was seeing the brush and I was making good throws. Like you knew when the first throw, that bait's where it needs to be. You take 1 or 2 throws, you roll the next one. It's not that you were picking them off. Like I didn't know if there was a fish in there or not. I just knew I was making a good throw and it's time to roll the next one after that.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that's where people feel are misinformed about live scope. I think they, most important thing is knowing what you're throwing at.
Yeah.
Right. That's for sure. Efficiency goes a long way.
Yes. And Andrew says in Florida when it's hot, the bass will sit on grass and not move so they won't show on scope. And he's seen a lot of people troll fast through them. Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You gotta go slow in Florida. Always, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Fast.
No.
Yeah, they're a different breed down there for sure.
They are, man. And, I've never been to the January, February tournaments. They've always had like NPFL's been there. Always been with them, and we went in I think we went in May and in September. Yeah, and I think we're going this year to the St. John's in September, I think. So, never been there for that pre-spawn deal. It's always been a more summertime deal, but yeah, they're a different breed regardless.
Oh yeah.
Rick Amato says you fish big river or lakes in New York, you want the scope for smallies. You just need to stay out of New York, guys. There's no fish up here.
Man.
No. You need to talk to the NPFL and do a Champlain. And I know they only do like 1 tournament a month, but doing a Champlain and 1,000 Islands back to back would be nice for you guys.
Oh gosh, that'd be awesome. It would.
Yeah,
because that's one thing I'll give them credit. They've stood to their roots on that because they said they were going to make it to where people that own their own business could still come fish or had a job with quite a bit of freedom could come fish, and they wouldn't make them go back to back. And we've never done it, and that's sometimes we get old on the drive, coming home and going back, but they make it to where people can go home and work for a few weeks before they go back.
Yeah, it's tough, and you talk about how family oriented they are. Well, you go to the other circuits and they're away for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. They come home. If they got a kid in school, that makes it tough.
Oh, yeah.
That makes it real tough.
And they are like NPFL. They're very family oriented. But man, I like all the leagues. I grew up fishing the BFLs and the Toyotas. Bass, I hadn't fished much of other than the nation stuff. But like the JM, that does all the filming and everything. They're based out of here. I know all those guys that like Ronnie Moore and Steve Baughman, guys you see on TV for the live for all the elites and stuff. I know.
Right.
Those are the guys that fish our local tournaments here. So I like all the leagues. I wish I could fish 40 of them a year. You just can't make it all work. It's just always been where the open stuff just never fit everything else for me, or something didn't work when it did. It didn't work.
You just need to team up with John Cox. That's all.
Hey man, if I had the sponsors do it, I'd roll with John. I can handle it. My family might kill me, but I love it. So here when I'm home every other week, we fish a Thursday daytime tournament. We fish a Tuesday nighttime tournament, and I fish every Saturday. I'm home somewhere, and so if they had a Wednesday, I'd fish a Wednesday. If I could fish 5 tournaments a week, I would locally. I love it, man. I love the tournament part of it. I think I normally average around 50 to 60 local tournaments a year, plus whatever I travel.
Yeah, and I say fishing those little tournaments keep you pretty sharp, and you can try new things. So that I think that definitely helps.
Yeah, it keeps me. I feel like pretty in tune, and it makes me fish on the fly a lot better, because what happens is you fish a Tuesday night somewhere, a Thursday, and then you got a Saturday. A lot of times you don't get to practice for any of it. You just now all these around here I've got history on, but still. You show up and figure it out tournament day. And like our Thursday, we fish one tomorrow that they don't draw till 3 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon to even tell us where we're going on Thursday. So no practice at all. But, I think that really helps me to fish a lot freer when I get somewhere else, because there's not a lot of getting locked into anything. You just have to fish on the fly.
Yeah. And talking about the NPFL, I love the fall tournaments. Remember when Bass used to do a lot of fall tournaments, and Rick Clun would just wreck them on a square beer. So I love the fall tournament. So hats off to them for doing some fall fishes.
And hey, man, that Florida in the fall is fun. You catch so many fish in a day. They just, especially finding current. Like, I've never been to the St. John's, but I think it'll be a current related, like a really fun deal. Like, you go catch a lot of fish at it.
Speaking of catching a lot of fish, you're down south, and do you think it's easier for you mentally, knowing that you may only get 5 or 6, 7 bites a day, where like with me up here in New York, I count on 10 plus bites a day? Do you think it's easier mentally on you coming up north, or knowing that you might get more bites?
Yeah, sometimes I feel like it's overwhelming when you get a lot of bites. Because I love Arkansas, but the fishing's pretty terrible a lot of the year. Like, we have our times, like Darnell gets, where he puts out 20, there'll be several guys catch 20, but like most of Arkansas fishing's tough. Like, if you catch 15, you're going to be in the top 3 90% of the year. I don't care what, you just pick a lake. Most of the time you'll win with 15. And you're not getting a lot of bites to do it. Arkansas River, especially in the, in the fall or even the summer, when the current stops, it's like if you can get 5 largemouth bites a day, they're keepers, you're probably gonna win. Right. And so you get so used to that you go to a tough tournament like a Truman. I probably had 60 bites in 3 days, but I never set the hook because I knew they were singles and brush piles and stuff, and you don't have to worry, are they 5-pounders? You just have to know, hey, that's a bite. That's probably a keeper. Sandy Cooper was the same way when we were there. You don't get a lot of bites there. Like, you just need to know you can get a bite. That's all you need to know. Okay. Then you get north and it's like, man, I need to hook them. Like, I get a lot of bites. I need to figure out, and then it's overwhelming. It's like, well, I went in this area and got 25 bites. Well, the problem is you can go in 10 more areas and get 25 bites, and it gets a little overwhelming to me when you get all those bites.
Yeah.
Because
culling's tough. Culling's tough when it's that close. Just an ounce here, an ounce there. It's tough.
And just, like, I'm used to rolling in the area and being like, all right, I got 7 bites. I can go in there and milk that for 2 days worth of fish, Where up north, well, I got 15 bites, and I go in there, and they're all shorts or they're barely keepers. That's the problem. You're not worried about keepers up north, man. I mean, you can catch keepers about anywhere. It's just, are they 3 or 4 pounders? You know.
Yeah. Eddie Carper says Hunter Fish is the big hammer.
What's up, Eddie? Eddie was one of our NPFL guys.
Eddie's a good guy. Yeah, Eddie's a good guy. We've had him on here.
Yeah. And speaking of Eddie, I took some of his advice. I ordered some more Star Lures products, but
never gonna have enough, man. Gotta plenty for a season. You hadn't even started finished fishing tournaments up in New York yet. I probably got half my season done in Kentucky already.
Yeah, right. Like all the good tournaments are about done around here. Within the next month, it'll be really tough.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Our good tournaments start August, September, October.
Wow.
Yep.
And then it's done. By November, it's so cold you don't fish.
Yep.
No, actually, I've told this story before. I fished a tournament the week before Christmas.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it
me and
warm?
my buddy. What's that?
Is it warm the week before Christmas?
It was about 20. Yeah, so it wasn't too bad.
That's no.
No.
And
not for me.
my buddy and I had 19 and a half pounds, and we're like, oh, we're stoked. You know, this is probably close to 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. We came in dead last.
Really?
You know, I think we're in 5th place after I think we were the fifth people to weigh in, and we're like, because, 19 and a half pounds, we're like, we're pumped. We're like, oh yeah, we're bringing money home. We can stop and get a good meal on the way home. And we're like, yep. We're not
McDonald's Happy Meals again.
Yeah. All the burgers.
We didn't stick around for the entire weigh, and I think we finished 32nd out of 32.
Ooh, man, that's brutal.
It is.
Jeez.
Oh, man.
That's all right, though. You go into them hoping you catch them. We caught fish all day. We probably caught 50 fish.
We went to Wright Patman in Texarkana a couple years ago, the first year the NPFL went. Not like I knew they were going to catch them. I knew there'd be some 20s. But I had 14 something, almost 15. I was like, good start. Had a 5-pounder. I was like, this will keep me where I need to be. Man, I was in like 70th out of 120. I'm like,
hey,
terrible. So then, the next day I catch like 17, and I'm still in 60th. I mean, it's just like you couldn't hardly make ground on those guys, man. It was amazing.
They was wrecking them.
Yeah.
Now, right now in Arkansas, is the fish on the beds? I know in Kentucky they're about kind of half on the beds and half going that way. But
yeah, there's I would say, and I hadn't I was in Oklahoma last week, but I'd say the southern half of Arkansas they're on, and some of them are already off.
Yeah,
I know, like my house north, like towards the Ozarks, I'd say they're starting to get on. I'd say they're I don't figure there's many off yet, on the north half of the state. Most of them are either just now getting on or still on their way up there.
Got you.
Yeah, in New York, they're still on the bed sleeping. That's what they're doing now,
right?
They're trying to stay warm under the ice. They just got iced out.
They're looking for sun.
We didn't actually where I'm at on Cougar Lake. We didn't really get ice this year, so
really,
yeah, it was terrible.
That's weird.
I mean, I'm being sarcastic when I say that because I don't go on ice.
That's one reason everywhere north is so good. Is that ice is over, it doesn't get any fishing pressure for so long,
Yeah.
For the most part, like the St. Lawrence River doesn't. I mean, the smaller lakes like Oneida Lake, that gets pounded ice fishing because the whole thing freezes over.
Gotcha.
But they can't keep the bass. They can't keep because it's out of season most of the time. So
gotcha.
Well, let me phrase that. They're not supposed to keep. There aren't a lot of game wardens on a frozen lake.
Right.
I would say so.
When deer season's out.
Right. I understand.
But yeah. So One of the things I like about the NPFL is everybody fishes every day.
Yep.
Was that one of the draws for you to fish that series, or?
I mean, it wasn't like it didn't seal the deal or anything. I thought I would like that. I've probably had as many tournaments that I wish there'd been a cut. I just took my check and went home after day 2.
Yeah.
It's probably, I thought about that a while back. It's probably been half and half that those, there was some that's like, man, I'm glad I had day 3, or that could have been bad. Like Sandy Cooper, I had like almost 22 on day 3. I was at the bottom before that. I bounced way up. But then there's been others where I was going to have a really good tournament, and then I failed at 40th or 50th with a bad day. So for the first 2 years, day 3 was my nemesis. Like, I could catch them 1 and 2, and day 3 I just couldn't. And now it's like it's more. It surprises me now. You never know. If I'm not going to catch them, I never know what day it's not going to be. Yeah. So I like that it gives everybody the opportunity. You don't have to worry about how long you're gone and how long you're fishing, but I don't know that it's helped or hurt me, really in the long run.
Do you think that's due to experience, learning when to lean on them, when to lay off them, or?
I think that had a lot to do with it. I was fairly green still. I mean, I'd probably fished 10 Toyotas at that point, and some championships here that were 2 and 3 days long. And it's hard, man. 3 days is I don't know that I've ever fished a 4-day. I don't think I have. There's not a lot that does that, other than like the elites. And, man, 3's hard though. It's hard to get enough for 3. Like even here locally, there's a couple times that we've led like to win a boat in a championship on the Arkansas River, and then I feel like I know that area as well as anybody here, and just could not keep it together for 3 days, and fall out of the lead.
Yeah,
it
makes it tough. One good day can really move you up.
Yeah, it makes you learn how to practice. I've always said if you'll go travel, I've told people like fish college around here, it doesn't matter how you really do in the tournament, but the traveling and learning how to break down a lake and practice outside of a lake you've ever been will help you more than you could ever imagine when you get home. Like it just clicks so much quicker. You've seen it. You've seen stuff you didn't see here. Then when it clicks here, you're like, oh, I get it because I've been there,
Yep.
So it does. Learning practice, I think, kills a lot of people, and myself included. Like if you can practice efficiently, you have so many more good tournaments. And sometimes it's just the decisions in the tournaments that you make too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
A lot of times that practice is a big deal.
Oh yeah, and then you get changing conditions, and you figure out where the fish has moved. I mean that's huge, especially on a multi-day. Especially.
It is, and when to pull the plug, when to go. Man, this is no longer the deal. I got to go.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard when everything you thought you could do is gone by noon on day 2, and you're like, all right, I'm out, and it's time to just go start over. Hard to do.
Yep. Start junk fishing. Fishing.
You're right there. Like, man, I'm inside the cut. I'm having a good tournament. Now I just have to throw it all away and go start over. And go figure out what they're doing now. That's tough.
Oh yeah,
it is. But with experience, I mean, that's the hardest thing to do is know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Yes, and the second year I fished, which would have been 22, is I fished. That's the year I won that Toyota series. I fished.
Right.
I was fairly green still. I fished the NPFLs. I fished a series of the Toyotas. And I fished a series of the ABA solo one or top 150 solo 150s, where I call them the solo deals. So that gave me 12 full weeks I was gone, and it was kind of expensive. It ended up working out all right, winning that one. But I knew I was biting off quite a bit doing that. But the girls weren't traveling with me yet because my girls weren't born yet, I don't guess, through half of it. But and my wife was still here working. But so me and a buddy, we just bit it off and went and did all of it. And I think it really helped. I mean, gosh, you go to 12 different lakes and whatever, 25 weeks, you're learning. You're learning.
Oh, yeah.
You're having to figure it out. And I think, it's just more time you do it, the more tournaments you do it, the better you're going to get at it.
Absolutely.
100%. Google Earth and all that stuff is great. But if you can't, Google Earth doesn't take into effect the conditions.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and I'm torn on Google Earth. Like there's some, like say if we went to Mississippi River, like I would spend some extensive time on Google Earth because all the sloughs and stuff. But a lot of times, like on a lake, yes, I've seen Google Earth help, but man, sometimes I roll in pretty unknown what's going on. I've done it where I've watched hours and hours of videos. Sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. Of course, we're off limits from January 1st on info, so we don't really have any info. And I don't, sometimes it's to me, but that may be from me being here fishing so much without practice. Sometimes to me, it's better just roll in, not know what to expect, and just figure it out that week.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same as you do that in that sense, that way you're going in with a clear mind.
Right.
Yep.
No preconceived notions.
I mean, last week at Grand, I hadn't been to Grand in 2 years, but I think I'd spent 3 full tournament weeks there leading up the last week. And I spent my whole, I don't know, I probably spent the first 6 or 7 hours the first day of practice checking stuff I had marked instead of just figuring out what I need to go do. And I basically threw that all away after day 1 of practice and went and figured out what I need to go do on day 2, and it's
right
when you've got a lot of history, it's sometimes it's hard to roll when there's like a fine line. If it's somewhere local and you've got like a ton of history, man, you can be deadly. Or if it's somewhere you've never been, you can be deadly. But in that middle where you've got just enough history to throw you off and waste half your practice looking at it, that's when it can bite you pretty bad, I think.
Yeah, I find it interesting to watch these like the opens, where you pay your entry, Toyotas. A lot of the local guys, they don't finish in the top 10% because sometimes history gets them.
Yeah. And it's tough, man, especially the Toyotas, because you've got like national level guys coming to fish them, and you've got the locals who just take your money every weekend on that lake. And then you've got the dudes that like a Todd Castledine, who could be anybody he wants to be, but he's just a AAA level guy, and he's bad to the bone. I mean, it doesn't matter where he's going to catch him, and so you've got all 3 of those going to affect in some of those Toyotas. It's hard to get over some of those guys.
Yeah, it is. But all right, you ready for the tough question?
I'm ready.
All right. What is your favorite homemade cookie?
Chocolate chip. Number 1.
Yeah, that's true. Hey. That's all timer.
That's right.
As long as you didn't say snickerdoodle, we were good.
No, we're good. All the way.
No, it's not funny. The reason I say that is we had 1 week where every guest was snickerdoodles. Like
I didn't know what it was. I didn't even know what it was.
Really?
No, I didn't. I had no clue.
Hey, good evening, Ed. Just want to say hi to him, Ed Cowan. He's a good friend of the show and excellent fisherman.
Living legend. Yeah. I'll go ahead and call it.
Yeah.
He's good. He's a good one.
Best kind to have.
That is. He's been around for a long time.
Yeah. Now it's the chance, we like to give, especially a person at your level, so sponsors and stuff like that, give you a chance to talk about some of your sponsors, some of the products, or people that have helped you along the way, even.
Man, I want to thank first and foremost my title sponsors, Diaz Scrap Metal. And I tell this story. He probably doesn't even like me bragging on him, but I tell this story. He was going to come on as just a sponsor at the beginning of last year, and I lost my title kind of pretty unexpectedly, and I didn't think I was going to get to fish the NPFL. And he called me every week. He'd call me, "Did you find a title? No. Did you find a title? No." He called me about the 3rd week of January. "Did you find a title?" And I mean, we're talking about fishing in March, and it's January, and I ain't paid a deposit yet. And I said, "No." He said, "All right, I'll be your." And I mean, we were talking about what we were first agreeing upon doing, and being a title was completely just polar opposites of each other.
Right.
And I was like, "What, really?" He's like, "Yeah, man, you need to go fishing," and it's so I got to brag on him. I tell people, I say it on stage, without all my sponsors, it takes all of them, and they all do so much for me. Without Diaz, man, I wouldn't have got to fish the NPFL. I'd have continued to fish, but it wouldn't have been at that level. So I owe him everything to be able to still be here and do that. Stick 5 rods, Brazalo custom lures. Oh gosh, I told you I'd go blank when I started.
No, you good, man.
Red River Auto Group grubs, bar and grill. Man, there's so many. They all know who they are. They all mean so much to me. Cabot Tire and Off Road, Horizon Trike Marine, Blazer Boats, Mercury Motors, Pro Guide Batteries. I think that covers most of them. I probably, if I missed one, they'll be mad. They'll be okay. They know I love them anyway. But
absolutely,
no, so many. It takes every one of them. It takes every single one of them from, I mean, everything. Batteries to rods to boats to, it takes them all to make it work. And it's, I'm so thankful for all of them.
Absolutely.
As well as your family.
As well, and the good Lord.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
So, Ed Cohen, you are correct. Hunter is a great angler.
Thank you,
great
sir.
angler, great man, great family man. And I'm not going to say much, but you have one of the nicest and easiest websites to maneuver.
Really?
I think so.
Oh,
I think so.
I set it up and I have no idea what I'm doing, so I really appreciate it. Yeah, that's right, Eddie. Horizon Trike Marine. They're it.
Yep.
In that boat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you make me feel good. Seriously, because I had never really looked at a website, and I had a guy set up originally that I went back in last year and pretty much redid all of it. So good. I'm glad it's easy to get around.
Yeah, it is. It is. And Rob actually sent me a picture tonight of it. Because I look at it, look at you and do a little bit of research. Not as much as Luke does. Okay.
we don't have a professional staff. We don't have a professional staff.
Low budget staff.
Yeah, lower than low budget staff.
Yeah. We're so low budget. I'm in a basement.
Hey, I'm in White's office. That's why I got blurred out.
But
Y'all can have good morning gorgeous on wherever it's at on the wall.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, I see that. Oh man.
I might have to do a screenshot and say, see what this guy was talking to me about?
Oh man.
No, you are an impressive person. Your fishing skills speak for themselves.
Thank you.
Yes, and the one thing that I gush over the most is you're a family man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I've seen a lot of anglers lose their families over fishing.
Yeah.
And
I can tell you that won't happen here because the first time that it takes away from them to go fishing, we'll hang it up.
Yep.
There you go.
I can go fishing here and catch enough fish to keep it going and not lose no money locally. Like I may not make any money, but I can go fishing here and catch enough fish to afford to fish locally. But the first time that it takes away from them, we will no longer be a professional angler.
There you go.
Gotcha. There you go. Absolutely. Got your priorities right, man. Definitely.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right. Well, hey, Rob, anything else you want to talk about?
No, he covered. I said, hey, man, you're an inspiration to all of us. So just keep on doing what you're doing. We're going to cheer you on, and we'll be watching you on the NPFL, man. Just keep on keeping on what you're doing.
Thank you so much. We'll be on the road to Hartwell before you know it.
We'll be watching, man, cheering you on.
Thank y'all.
All right.
All righty.
Thank you, sir. God bless. Take care.
You as well.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Woohoo!
Man, I got it. True inspiration, man. I'm telling you.
Yes, I had to throw that in there about his website because it's impressive. It is.
Nice. Easy to flow through. Got all the information there. Yeah, he did a good job on that.
Yeah, because you and I were talking earlier. I was looking at redoing mine, and you were talking about redoing yours. And
yep,
I got a couple ideas just to look at his. So,
yeah, he set the bar up high. We got a ways to go to get to his level, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try to get his level fishing. But No, I'm not even sure who we got on next week, but we got people.
I know we got my old travel buddy, Coach Carter, on next week, I think.
Oh,
Which is 23rd. Yeah, it's next Wednesday, Tuesday. Which is funny because me and him's going to be camping out at South Holston come Saturday. So that's pretty dang cool.
So
hopefully we'll have something to talk about.
This will be a bragging rights segment.
Yeah, he's got the better of me this year, so I got some catching up to do.
Well, hey, I got a lot of catching up to do just to catch you.
you hadn't even started, man. You hadn't even warmed up yet. So, man.
I was thinking earlier today, I'm like, man, I got like 4 or 5 rods to build.
Yeah. Yeah, I got some line ordered at work, and I got to grab it tomorrow and put it on my reel because I need it.
Oh, awesome. All right, so next week's lineup. Hold on, let me get the things so I can read.
You good, man.
Next week we have Angie Scott on Monday, Coach Carter on Tuesday, and John Sukup on Wednesday.
Woo, man. Man, whoever books our guests, man, is next level, man. Just gets better and better. I mean,
well, I'd like to brag about the guy, but he's not that bright.
I'll beg to differ out a little bit.
Now we're just like we tell our guests and tell everybody, we're just 2 guys who like talking fishing, having a good time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
One thing I do want to mention before we head out, if you don't mind.
Yep.
Got a couple minutes. Well, maybe I'll mention it. Pam Horn, she's doing gotten involved, and she's a past guest and watches a lot of our shows. She sent me a message, and wherever it went to, there's a Fishing for Hope, 10th annual Peterson Outdoor Ministry Fishing for Hope tournament coming up, and at Anchor Point Resort, out of Anchor Point Resort.
Yep.
And in Arkansas. And she just wanted me to give a mention to that. So if you guys are interested, and that is, when is that? May 18th.
May 18th. A month away. Right around the corner, a month away. Yeah.
She wanted us to give a mention about that tournament, and I said, yeah, she was former guest. She's almost here every week, listen to our show. So anything we do to help our friends, let us know.
And a good mentor, some of the younger ladies coming up. So, absolutely,
not just ladies, but I think it's every week she goes ahead and takes a high school kid out.
Yep. Yeah, good mentor to those young ladies and inspiration to them, guarantee you. I think he had me on the show one time, but we have been talking.
We're waiting for him to hit that side pot.
Yeah, that'll happen. Yeah. We need that Rick Amato guy. I mean, he's like riding pros around in Florida. I mean, he's all over it, man. We need that Rick Amato guy one time.
Yeah, we need to get him on and talk about how it was to be a camera boat.
Oh, that's pretty dang cool.
Yeah. So Rick, I know he's a little bashful. So, and we'll get him on here though. But
oh yeah, we got a spot for him.
Anything else, brother?
No, we all good, man. We had a good week, and said thanks for everybody tuning in, Eddie and Andrew, and of course Rick. We always appreciate you guys that tune in every day, and we'll keep on rolling. And I said I'll be on South Holston Saturday with me and John's good friend Coach Carter. So hopefully one of us cashes a check, may bring some hardware home. So we'll let you know how that goes.
You know what they say. Hardware stays, checks leave.
Yeah, that's true. It goes way too quick.
Yeah, you're right. I'd have a good one. You guys take care, everybody, and be safe, and hope to catch you Monday.
Yep. God bless and peace out, guys.